Welcome back everyone. So today I'm gonna keep loading one of the video that I told you earlier, and I'm keep preparing for my job interview, technical interview, and live interviews. But at the same time, I also want to keep practicing both my Python and Java programming skills. And still, the Java is very marketable language, so I want to tackle this problem today with you. It's called making anagrams. So what do we do here? Check out the resources on the page right side to learn about strings. Da da da. So Alice is taking a cryptography class and finding anagrams to be very useful. We consider two strings to be anagram of each other if the first string's letters can be rearranged to form the second string. In other words, both strings must contain the same exact letters in the same exact frequency. For example, Bekadak and Digadak are anagrams, but Bekadak Dakadaga are not. Alice decides on an encryption scheme involving two large strings where encryptions da 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 da. So what it's basically asking is when we are fed like two strings, right? What we need to return is basically the number of the character that we need to delete to make these two strings anagrams. So in this case, we need to delete, let me see, what are the common characters that they have in common? I guess in this case it's C, right? So we need to delete D and E from the first string and then A and B from the second string so that you only would be left with C. And it can be, again, a lot of different inputs kind of come along, as you see here, right? So in order for them to anagrams, in order for two strings to be anagrams, they should consist of same characters. The order doesn't matter, but definitely we need to think about the situations where if they do not have any, if they do have uncommon characters, then those are the characters that we need to delete. So let's move on to Java and understand how we're going to tackle this problem. So first I'm going to start with import some libraries in Java, import java.util, and then import java.io, okay? And then how to tackle this problem. So first, let's think about this algorithm first, okay? So we're going to, given two strings, right? What I want to do is I want to convert them into lowercase, just in case. I don't want this, problem to be case sensitive, but convert them into lowercase letters. Later on, what I want to do is there are many ways of thinking of this, but given that we are gonna only fill with the characters, we're gonna use sort of fixed hash set or fixed arrays, okay? And there are only A to Z, right? Which is 26 characters, 25 characters, 26 characters. So we're gonna use the 26 box array, okay? The way we do it is we're gonna convert them to an ASCII character. So I just prepared a page for you guys. What is ASCII? So ASCII in Java is a Unicode and blah, blah, blah. What this is basically, this is the column. The rightist columns is that we want to look at it from A to Z, okay? From A to Z here. ASCII is sort of the integer value that corresponds to each letters. So once we can serialize this A to Z characters into numbers, then we can sort of manipulate them because we are now, this problem changes into the fixed number of the input, right? So we can sort of think about how we do it. After we change the ASCII character, we want to store them into array, and then we gotta use like some indexing or manipulation and stuff like that. So what I'm saying is, because we're going to give it two string, we can say A string or something, or B string later. This box is going to be integer with like 26 values in it, okay? 26 value. So think about it, like from A to B, whatever the placeholder, there are going to be 26 number of characters, dot, 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 until Z. So later on, the first character is going to be filled up with an A or a Z placeholder, okay? But what we want to store, okay, I'm going to just copy and paste it so that I'll help you understand a little bit here. We're going to copy and paste it, and these are just placeholder. But in this placement, we want to store the frequencies of these values, either 1 or 0. It can be 2 actually, it doesn't matter, right? Or if they both have Z as characters, it's gonna be like 1 and 1. If the A string has like 2 C's, right, but 0 C's, then it's gonna be like this. So it's gonna be like a kind of a giant hash set or array, whatever you call it. What we want to do is if they have same frequencies, right? So we're gonna subtract like each corresponding indexes. If they have like same occurrences like this, then we're gonna get 0. So what does that mean? What does that tell us? If their difference is not same as 0, which means if either A or B strings have more than a one character that's even more or less than the other one, that means that those are the differences, the characters of differences that we need to kind of subtract, and we gotta accumulate into like, I don't know, like mean deletions or something later on. So this is sort of generic algorithm that I want to approach right now. So I'm gonna start with class solution or whatever you call it. I usually call it like this, but make sure you do a public so that it can get access to all different types of scopes in this program. What I want to do here is, so what do you want to do? We're gonna definitely define I'll say like the method, you know. What we want to do is very step by step. So I don't want you to rush in here. I'll say public, and I'll say make anagram. Okay, anagram, and it's gonna take a string x, I don't know, string y, and what this method is basically does is it should return the minimum number of deletions that we hear. Okay, so that's our ultimate goal, but we're gonna I'm gonna help you walk through step by step. So first, what we want to do, we want to do, given two strings, we want to convert them into what? That's why this is the time you know, the where when the pseudocode kicks in, the pseudocode becomes useful. Given two strings, to convert them to lowercase characters. So I'm gonna say string, I'll say, I don't know, x lowercase character like this equals. Make sure you have like different like variables so that like the Java's not gonna complain later. X dot to lowercase. This is how you do in Java. Okay. And you copy and paste it again, and I copy and paste it again, and string y letters, like y, I don't know, like y lowercase equals y dot lowercase. So now we converted everything into lowercase. Good. Okay. What do you want to do next? As I told you, we're gonna instantiate 26 blocks of an array. Okay. This is gonna be what? Integer array, right? Because this array is gonna, when we instantiate in Java, empty array, whatever, it's going to be filled with all the zeros, which we want. We want every frequency of each character from each strings to be 0. So what I want to do here is this int array. So this bracket means, okay, this is integer array, okay? Integer array A equals new int 26, because there are 26 characters and alphabets, right, in English. And int, again, sub b equals new int 26 again. So those are pretty much identical. So we assume that the A's array is gonna contain the x, and the B's array is gonna take account of the frequencies of the characters in y. Does it make sense to you guys? Hopefully. Otherwise, come back to later in the video. And later, what we want to do is, now we're gonna populate this array, right? We're gonna store them into array. So this is like this pseudo part code, if that makes sense. Okay. What I want to do is, we want to convert them to ASCII characters. So we need a what? We need a loop here, right? So for int I equals 0, I is smaller than, I would say, xl dot, I would say length. I'm gonna loop through the length of an the string xi. XL, X lowercase, and then keep increasing I. So as we loop through the X, what we want to do, because we already converted into a lowercase, we want to do is we want to figure out how to convert those each characters into character. The way you're doing it here, I'll just tell you, there's a char current character, I don't know, cur character, stuff like that, or cur char, doesn't matter. Cur char equals what? XL dot charet of index of I. So this is the index of the character of I at index I, okay? And what we want to do is int ASCII, okay, equals int char. So we want, this is the line where we convert, okay, I'm gonna just write convert character value into ASCII value. So that's why you do it. And then I want to say int a ASCII character equals int character A. Now, why do I want to do it? I'll explain to you just in a moment, okay? And I want to say ace. So why I want to do is, as you see here, everything I want to start 0 index is A, and then 26 here. So every time we want to store the placement of B to whatever we want to subtract whatever from here and then from its original position, so that each character will find its own position from 0 to 25 in this case, kind of sequentially. That's what I want to kind of get from here. So I want to say, now I want to populate the array, right? The way you populate array is a sub something equals something. Now in a sub, which position? Now ASCII minus a ASCII, right? Hopefully I don't have any typo. ASCII equals, we want to position, oh, actually plus, because as I told you, when we station everything is 0, and every time we loop through 0, we want to increment the frequencies of that. So I'm going to copy and paste this exact the same thing for the B array, which is this belongs to what? Basically the string y in this case. So y small letter dot char add y lowercase dot char length I same. In this case, I'm going to store them into B array. Okay, ASCII, whatever this stays the same. Now everything's populated. What we want to do? We want to do is we want to generate int min deletions, minimum number of deletions equals 0, because now this is how you like start it. Everything is from 0 array. Deletion. Make sure you don't have typo here. Now I want to loop through whatever this 26 amount of array, and I'm gonna subtract like each of them, and I take the absolute value of it because that's how much of difference. And then I'm gonna accumulate from 0 to whatever that is, and then we're gonna calculate how many like letters that we need to delete, if that makes sense to you. So I'm gonna say for int j equals 0, j is smaller than 26, and then j plus plus. And then what you want to do is you want to loop through the array. The way you do it is math dot absolute value of a sub z minus b sub z corresponding value. And let's take a moment and think about here. So this is sort of the differences between like whatever it is. It can be like 0. If it's 0, that's good. That means like they both have common characters. If they're not 0, it's just like 1 or 2. Then that's the amount of that's the number of characters that we need to delete. So what I want to do is basically gonna mean delete equals, right? I mean plus equals. That means I'm going to increment this min delete of this much of a time from 0 and keep calculating. Okay, now it's a 1. Okay, now I need to delete 1 character of A. Now I'm gonna, let's say this is like, I don't know, 3 or 5 or something. Now I'm gonna delete 2 characters of B from here, and I keep incrementing. Does it make sense to you guys? Hopefully. Otherwise, you need to practice Java more, or subscribe to my channel, okay? I'll tell you more. Return delete mean deletion, okay? So hopefully this is an integer. Every time you double check, like this data type, okay, integer, that's good. Later on, I'm gonna construct a main function. So the way you do it in Java is public static void main, and then string args. So I'm gonna instantiate whatever the class that I just solution, I don't know, just name it, k equals new solution parentheses. Now you instantiate this class. I want to print out the result system.println. Where the k dot notation of this method is make anagram, and then I'm gonna pass like 2 strings based on CDE. So first string is gonna be CDE, comma, second string is gonna be what? ABC. Good. Okay, let's see. I'm not sure actually. I've never tested. Hopefully it's gonna work. Let's keep our fingers crossed. ABC. Is it correct? Right. And then I guess that's pretty much it. Let's go and test it. Hopefully it works. One error. What's going on? Oh, I missed 1 parenthesis here. Okay, all the time double check your parentheses. Otherwise you're gonna have debugging error. Uh-oh, cannot find symbol. Mean deletion. Okay, it should be mean deletion. Okay. So those variable types checking. 4! Is it 4? 4, boom! So this is sort of the answer that we're expecting. We need to delete 4 characters for these 2 anagrams, the strings to be anagrams. So please subscribe to my channel and leave any comments. This is one way that I think of it, but if you do have a better idea, please recommend me and teach me as well. This is mutual learning, and I hope you enjoy my video, and hope you have a great day. Thank you.